Poet, performer, recording artist, and activist, Ursula Rucker is a woman changing the game. This multi talented artist hails from Philly. She graduated from Temple University with a degree in journalism, but poetry became her calling. Many became familiar with her voice and her words after listening to her poetry on The Roots, Do You Want More album, and her time on the show Def Poetry. Known for her raw emotion and incredible ability to paint pictures with words, Ursula Rucker has worked with some of the biggest names in music. With 5 albums and a slew of collaborations under her belt, Ursula has traveled the world and captivated audiences with the power of her pen. A lover of house music, Ursula recorded her first house music track with producer King Britt in 1994. In 2020, Ursula was named one of the top vocalists of the year by TrackSource, who said, "She is an artist whose touch turns music to gold." Ursula is one of the biggest names in the genre. She's a game changer, a woman who uses her voice to tell the stories of the unheard, the unseen, and the voiceless. She is a voice of truth, power, and incredible vulnerability. Ladies and gentlemen, I present tonight's game-changing artist, the incredibly talented, multi-talented Ursula Rucker.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited about this one.
Thank you for your patience. You know what I mean? It hit me up in the first place.
But what did we say? Divine timing. It all worked out when it was supposed to, you know?
Yeah.
So like I was kind of telling you, I am doing 2020 kind of took me out the loop a little bit creatively, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my site. So I created this series called The Game Changers, and I wanted to speak to creatives across a myriad of talents, to just find out how they made it through 2020 and things that they did to stay creative and keep those juices flowing. So that's one of the reasons I want to speak with you. And then I also want to talk about your art, your music, some of the stuff that you're doing, but that's kind of where I'm going. Excuse me. So for those that don't know, can you walk me through like the moment you fell in love with words?
Oh my goodness. Wow. These questions, that question, any facsimile of that question always stumps me, because like it's like you have to go back and remember.
Yeah.
And you remember different things at different moments. So it was for survival, really. Just being a shy little girl, I say this all the time, because I guess that when I really think about it, that's the thing that stands out the most, is and then it was, I mean, I didn't know it at that time, but it's my mission. So that's, I was put on this path, but in the beginning, as a adolescent, 12, 13 or whatever, when I started just really getting into writing in my journal and getting a little creative with my journal entries, and loving song lyrics and studying song lyrics and the poetry in them, and realizing that it was just a way for me to find a place where I could put my voice, because I wasn't comfortable with my voice. I was shy, and a lot was going on in my young life. Family was jacked up, as so many of us have this experience, and just trying to find my place and something that felt good to me.
Yeah. It's very common to have that experience. I fell in love with words, early. My mom gave me a diary, I'm not writing it, but it wasn't until my young adult and kind of married life where I felt like my voice was being stifled out of me that I dove back into it, because that was the place where I could speak freely without any retribution, any mess, any drama. So it was a place of therapy, but it was where I was learning to find my voice again. but it was very, similar feeling like I didn't have a voice in my real life. So my journals became where I poured it all out,
Exactly.
So
And I'm certain that in that moment, even when it's born there, that it's the creative spirit and energy that's also, guiding us.
yeah,
So that's always present. It's always about the creative magic and the sacred creativity, if you ask me.
hmm
For me, the creativity, the poetry, the writing, yeah, it's sacred. It saves me. And then
yeah,
when we get to share it with others, we get to see if it resonates, and if we could all help each other and hold each other up out here.
yeah. And it took me a very long time to want to share my
And
work.
dance sometimes.
When did you, especially saying you were kind of shy and introverted, when did you feel comfortable enough to get out there and peel those layers back and let people see that?
Yeah, it's a good question. It got me comfortable.
Mm, I
You
know
know,
that's right.
you know what I mean?
It
If I
will.
wanted to, it was just like getting on planes, right? I
Hmm.
had an intense fear of flying when I first, okay, so if I didn't ever fight that, then I wouldn't have been going nowhere to do this thing.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
and that's what I kept telling myself, I just kept, because it was really intense. And I'm like, all right, Urs, well, it's cool. If you don't want to get on the plane, then, you don't have to go have any experiences or go,
Right.
share it with as many people as you can. And so I kept, going. And now, shoot, I'm craving getting on a plane now, even though I still
I,
always have a little bit of fear. I wish I could travel so bad right now.
I know.
Yeah, we
It
take we
keeps
take things
popping up in my memories, the trips
right.
that I was on, and it's just like,
Grateful for those though. Thank God we were able to travel. But yeah, so it's like that. It's like, um, I figured if I wanted to do this thing that I was starting to love, which is the poetry and writing, and I knew it was welling up inside of me. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do?
mhm.
And then I was seeing people that I knew putting out books of poetry and doing performances of their work. And I'm like, oh, okay, these people are reading their poems with music and I'm just studying in the off to the side,
Right, right.
true Virgo observing. It's all quiet on the side. And then yeah, just going with the flow. And then my homie King Britt came and asked me to record something.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
I
I
was
had
gonna ask the melding of your poetry with house music. You know, how did that happen, and what did you love about house music specifically that would make you want to put your words to music?
I love that because I do love house music and I always will. I always have. House music saved me, saved a lot of us
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
still does it. Um, last night a DJ saved my life. That's real. People think that's just a
It's
song,
very real.
to dance to, right?
That is so
Ah,
real.
no, that's really real. That's
Where you let it all go on
yeah.
those dance floors. You really do.
And I think, a lot of times for me as a woman and as a Black woman, being able to get out there on the dance floor and be by myself and spin and twirl alone.
Yes,
Like, nope,
alone.
I'm good. I'm on my solo dolo. I'm cool. And it was that moment for us to sometimes just release, and we loved it. And now we're part of it, and that's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's
And
honestly one of the first places I became comfortable with my body
mm,
was through house music, because
mm,
I've always been so self-conscious. And that moment that you just
whew,
described, where you're just
got the
on the dance
chills.
floor, my eyes are closed and I don't care. Like, I am just literally
Great.
allowing that. Yeah.
It's something
That's true.
special. That's what dancing does in general, but something special about house music. I don't care what anybody says.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get
Yeah.
into it, that's cool. Everything isn't for everybody, but we all know there's something really, really special about house music and all its iterations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just had started doing some readings,
Mhm.
little bookstores, little art shops, whatever, wherever we could. That's where we just wanted to do it. We didn't care if we didn't even know about being paid.
Right.
Yeah, the poets that I was out there with here in Philly, we were just excited. And so doing that first recording with King for House Music, and King Britt, had done the party here in Philly, Back to Basics, that
Yeah.
I did that thing at, sis, got on the dance floor and twirled and had my freedom and let go and forgot about my problems. And then he asked me to make one of those songs that we all danced to. And I was like,
right.
Just doing my thing and being a mom. Was I a mom yet? Oh no, I wasn't.
It's hard to remember your before mom days sometimes, ain't it? I'm trying to go back.
I wasn't a mom yet. What am I talking about? I wasn't a mom yet. These damn kids, they think they've been with me the whole time. I used to have a life.
That's what I try to tell them. Like, you don't even know how I used to do it back then. I barely remember it. I'm trying to.
They trust me. They've been out with me. I've taken them out. They've been in, but they try to act like they're embarrassed when I'm out there twirling. I'm like, you're not hardly embarrassed. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, mom still got it.
Trust me, they have seen me and my girlfriends at like house picnics and things, and they'll be like, Mom, and I'm like, y'all know how to party.
Don't you love to do that to them? I love it.
Oh yeah, my daughter will be like, Mom, I'm like, you wish you could feel the music the way we feel the music. Like, it's a freedom.
I love it.
It's a spiritual experience a lot of times. Like, I have gone there with heaviness into spaces, and a DJ will play something and you might see tears come down my eyes as I'm dancing. That's a release,
It's magical. And I love being part of that in particular. Mm-hmm. And I just love poetry. I love everything you can do with it, that we can make songs with it, or we could just keep it to ourselves and heal ourselves. We could share with others. We can teach classes with, we could do anything, put it in a piece of visual art, painting, a photo, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I was introduced to you through the Roots, through the pieces that you did on that album. And then I remember watching you on Def Poetry Jam and just being very drawn to your delivery. And I think I shared this with you before, but when I started doing poetry, somebody was like, oh, your voice is too soft, it's too feminine, ain't no power behind that, nobody's gonna hear you. And I remember thinking, listening to your poetry would bring me to tears. It would hit you. And you weren't shouting it, you weren't throwing, you were just speaking in your voice. But it was so much authenticity that went from your mouth to my heart or to an audience, which is what I think made you so memorable in those moments, to where I was on a mission to find out more about you and your work and your writing. And I remember it was just such, you were such an influence on me to remind myself not to change or try to alter. I've already gone through the process of trying to find my voice again. I don't need somebody else telling me how to say it. You know what I mean? So you were very instrumental in that, particularly your messages to women. And some of them are very harsh and raw and real, where it's just like, I relate. And I'm kind of sad that I do, because we have these shared experiences. But you did one piece a while ago called Lonely Can Be Sweet. And I remember as I was going through my divorce, listening to that and just learning how to embrace being solo dolo and being cool and being happy with and joyful, and not feeling like, you're a single mom with 3 kids, that kind of thing. And like, but I remember playing that on a regular basis. Do you consciously write pieces specifically for us at times? Or is it just, if I write it and it touches you, then it was for you?
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. That whole I was like, yeah, well, I wanted to say a couple things in response to what you just said, and that is, yeah, I've been through that thing about our voices and getting comfortable with our own voices on many levels, the way it sounds, the rhythm of it, and what we're saying, what's coming from the inside, all of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to, compare in the beginning of somebody that was out there like being all raw, and that's fine, and I'm like, oh, people seem to really. I remember I went to South Africa and did a poetry festival, and there was a lot of that going on at that moment. And I'm like, man, I feel really out of place. But you know what? I was like, this is me. This is nothing I can do about this. This is me. And I had to keep having those experiences, I guess. But they were, uncomfortable. But that's why I eventually became a firm believer and spread this to everybody now, that in those moments of uncomfortability are, those are the really important moments that we may not recognize. So I try to tell people, hey, recognize that. That's the moment. Don't walk away from that.
Right.
Go on into that. You know what I mean? When you can take a moment, because we all keep coming back to, no, I'm not ready. Okay, but you want to go into that, because if you don't, then you won't get that magic that's in there. When you meet that uncomfortable moment, like we've done over and over and over again, that uncomfortable moment that you have to go through, and usually it holds magic if you allow it to give you that and give yourself that.
Right.
If you allow, right? I've worked through all of that to get here, all of the second guessing myself, not thinking I was good enough. This is not what everybody else is doing, this over here. All of that. And so I'm still here. Yeah. So I thank you. That's important. So yeah, it always starts with me first. Okay, I have to just get it out. All right. Just something, and it needs to come here. And that's where it is. And then, yes, of course, very often it's pointed that I want to share this story for us, for all of us. Or sometimes when I'm writing because I got to get it out, and then I decide I'm going to share it. And then it just But yes, but subconsciously, even if I don't go about it pointedly, I'm always thinking about us. What?
Right. Absolutely.
Always thinking about us.
It's just so
all
many
women and Black people and Black women especially, but all women. This is a global movement. This is a global push. We will not be quiet. We will not stop. We will not allow the tragedies of history to continue. Where we're concerned, you will not continue to do the things that you've done to subjugate women, oppress women, gaslight women. What is?
Listen, keep going.
The historic gaslighting of women. And anyone who identifies as woman will stop.
Yeah.
Promise you, it will stop. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it in the air. I feel it in the energy. All this work that we've been doing and people before us have been doing. And it was going to take a lot of time to do this. This is thousands of years of y'all rolling out this program, and you know who y'all are.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So don't act funny. Who's y'all?
Y'all. You know exactly.
The woman stuff is going to be coming hot and heavy. Woo!
It's so fun. That's why I can't. I'm a Black woman. I'm a woman. So all of that's going to always come out.
Yeah.
And even when the discussion is raised about my voice, to say a feminine voice isn't powerful, that's you on that mess already. So it understanding and learning, knowing that the voice, this soft spoken doesn't mean weak, it doesn't mean powerless. It's just, you know what I mean. And I think that's been my personal lesson as I continue to grow as a creative, is understanding the power that's in here, in this voice. How I spit it, I don't have to shout it to make it hit, you know. And understanding that the words we have in us, that's what they want you to think. So you don't, they silence you like that, where you start questioning yourself and doubting who you are and your ability and your power. So I really feel like a lot of times we have to fight against that on a regular basis, you know, just all the time. But we'll get
Sure
off on
we
a
do.
tangent on that.
Sure we do. You know, and I promise you that some of the our colleagues and our co-sisters out
Mhm.
here that do you know, do their thing with loud, boisterous voices have also gotten
Oh yeah,
pulled to the side. Like, oh, you're a little bit
too
too aggressive.
masculine.
You're a little bit too aggressive for a
Yeah.
woman, don't you think?
Hmm.
So yeah, it happens all.
All across
We
the
all
board.
have to come together and work together and support each other and do this thing.
Well, I always say, you know, in the choir, it's different voices, altos, sopranos, and they all work together to form this beautiful harmony. And that's what I see this creative community as. You know, it's we're a choir of a bunch of different voices, and we all have something to say that's important. You
Word.
know,
Word.
so that is going to lead me right into my next question, because you have always been someone who has used your art as a form of activism,
Mm.
whether consciously or unconsciously. You speaking about the things that are happening, real life stuff that's happening. With 2020 being such a cluster of foolishness, how did you take all of those emotions? Because if you're like me, I was overwhelmed with anger, sadness, rage. It was just a lot, and you want to get all of that out in a productive way where you don't sound like you just throwing daggers every 2 seconds. How did you manage that last year?
Thank you. Like I want to know that I have that question for everybody too. I don't know, you know, because we're still doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, still in
Yeah.
process. Like I just right before I got on here with you, I was in a meeting and the theme was really this cliche phrase, but one that I really love because it's so logical, and that is trust the process. It's so overused and trite now.
Yeah.
I really love the core meaning of it. It still stands, you know. It's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
what that says is, you know, trust yourself and what you're doing, what your intention is, what you believe,
Hmm.
you know, and that's it. And outside of that, you know what I mean? None of us know anything. We don't, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think anybody is like a confirmed clairvoyant where we're all like, oh yeah, that person is a clairvoyant. I believe everything they say
Right.
about the future.
It was so weird because I just felt I've had an opportunity to talk comedians and artists and painters and sing, and everyone that I talked to said, when all this stuff hit, we kind of had a the hell is going on moment that kind of stopped everybody. Then everybody took a breath because a lot of us have been moving like hamsters in a wheel. So we were grateful for the time to kind of hit the reset button. And then it was, well, how do I do my art now? How do, if I'm not traveling anymore, if I'm not doing shows anymore, how do I still create in the midst of whatever is happening with me personally, the loss of income, the drama, the pandemic, race, all this other stuff, raising kids. How am I able to create this art?
This Thank you for all that. Yes, look. You were making me feel nervous on the inside. You know, just every time you hear the you're like, oh my goodness, how am I doing this? This is
right. It's so real.
But I was doing it, but this has been my whole life. That artist life. So going into the global pandemic, yeah, hard for everybody. But I will say, those of us who have lived our lives as artists and trying and working to make a living from our art, it's always been an interesting balance. But then having this thing laid on top of you, on top of that already, we're already in a challenging situation as artists who live and make a living is a relative term,
right?
From this art and try to do it, like I'm trying to think of other terms just because I get easily bored and I just like to stay creative for activism.
Yeah.
Because, all right, I want to just find different ways to but so when you include that into your art, well, yeah, it makes making a living a little more difficult and challenging. And so I was already there, but luckily the creativity didn't suffer, even though the pain and the trauma definitely elevated for all of us. And it's still there right now. But the creativity, I'm blessed. It just came in out of necessity. Like, no, this is what we do in moments like this. This is how we stay alive and sane in moments like this. This is how we pick ourselves up off the floor, because we fall to the floor now.
Absolutely.
Don't get it twisted.
More than once.
Oh no, we on the floor, and then I'm like, oh, from the floor, I might write a haiku, and then I get to my knee, and then I pick myself up, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. However you got to do it.
Yeah, and thank God and them for lots of other people out there, the grassroots workers, the art venues and organizations and nonprofits and activist groups, and all these people who have been collaborating and doing projects and calling on the artists because they see the truth and what we do, and how important what we do is to people say we're all stardust. You know what I mean? Like we're all, everything is connected. We're stardust. We're connected. Well, when people really get that artists are connected to the whole human experience without artists, I'd be afraid to see
what society would look like.
Without artists,
no.
Women and Black and Indigenous folk, it would just be boring.
Just a shell. A zombie of a society.
Well, and there wouldn't be any. Yeah, well, there wouldn't be nobody here. It would be done.
Right.
But yeah, we got to keep going, and by that I mean, sis, not because I'm really big on us not beating ourselves up on this productivity shit. Where we're uber productive, and then we're like, leaving ourselves by the wayside in this profound moment of where we all need to be about our whole wellness, and also about helping others be about their whole wellness and getting there as well. That's all. So I'm still doing it, thank goodness, and I know you're still doing it, and the fact that that I may be helping others get up off the floor. That's my motivator right now, is that so it's a double thing. It's like I'm staying creative, and that's my motivator because that's my savior. And then maybe I may be helping, while I'm trying to help myself, I may be helping others, and that's my motivator.
Yeah. We also share, we're both moms. We're both moms of teenagers and grown, think they grown kids. As an artist, sometimes you get so focused on doing the stuff, you wonder if you're, falling on the wayside. It's that constant state of trying to be the superwoman that's impossible. Have you, I shouldn't say have you struggled, because we all do, but how have you managed to balance motherhood and artistry and all the other hats that we have to wear?
I'm about to ask you, how have you done it?
I'm still figuring it out. I swear. Some days are great, some days not so much. We have to give ourselves grace, I think.
Oh, we definitely do. I'm not sure if I managed it or not. I'm just still here. I'm just what I know is, like we were just talking about, that
Yeah.
is that I'm just still doing it. So I think the creative response, and I will put this out there to everyone, whether you consider yourself an artist or not,
Mm-hmm.
your creative response in this moment to these moments is important, to keep you alive, to keep you engaged with this moment. Although, this is a rugged moment, and we don't want to engage with this moment, but it will keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
It will keep you and creatively responding could be you just writing a little thing down. And I definitely want to mention this, how I managed spirit work. Spirit work, which includes ancestor work, which includes whatever you think spirit work is, whatever that means for you. For me, it's whatever kind of prayers I think are. I got all kinds of prayers. The poems are prayers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meditation, and the haiku writing practice. The haiku writing practice, yo.
Yeah.
Oh my God, never thought that it would. Oh, yeah, it kept me alive this past year. I don't even know how many haikus I wrote. I probably going to surprise myself when I go down my list in my notes app.
Yeah.
and in books everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere in my little journals, my little notebooks. So yeah, but the spirit work and the conversations with nature and God and them and the stars and stuff. Ooh, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. But I want to talk about one of the songs you released last year that I loved, Or Stay Alive. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about that one. And I was looking, and you didn't write it during the time of all this stuff. Just the timing, the fact that timing hit. When did you actually write that?
Yeah, that kept happening. At the beginning of last year, it was a really honestly, it felt like a supernatural experience, because the things I had recorded in 2019, or the beginning of 2019, you know what I mean? Really,
yeah.
It takes time, as you know,
mm-hmm.
To put these songs out sometimes. So yeah, we take our time. The producers are taking their time. They're doing other things. Okay, it's fine. So I had forgotten about, you forget.
You're right.
And then COVID. So all of us forgot everything in our lives. What? Nothing else matters. It's
right.
What? We're in a global pandemic. This is happening, And then Or Stay Alive was one of them. It was 5 or something. And they were all along those lines of uplift. I mean, just kind of come on, we could. And I was sitting back okay.
You're survive or thrive. I'm like, she talking to me. It was one of those things. I'm like, and you're like, yeah, I wrote that last year.
I was like, the universe, you use me. I got it. Okay, it's cool. I like that. I like to be used like that.
Yeah, the time. But we always talk about it, and the guys I work with know I'm always like, when is the song gonna be ready? When is it? I'm always like that. But I learned things come out when it's time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm so yeah, I've gotten much better with that. I mean, for certain things, if you're on the and I'm late a lot, I'm procrastinating and stuff. So I know it's me they're waiting for sometimes. So I try to keep it all in perspective. But yeah, it just all happened at the same what we do, is blessed. It's not just for fun. It is.
No.
It's not just, it damn sure ain't just for money, I promise. And when we working on that though, we working on the money being better. Come on, you're gonna pay us, but
right. what we're worth.
Yeah,
And then some.
that's another podcast hour.
Yeah.
um, yeah, we like because then we're talking about paying women and artists and Black people. That's what we got going on right.
Yeah.
Oh, and activists. So then we got all
that's a whole series. That's a series in itself.
Yeah,
we should do co-host a series.
We could. I'm about to. Everybody tells me I should have my own podcast, but I'm think I'm too lazy.
That would be so dope.
I'm just so lazy. I'm
you let me know if you need a co-host, so
maybe.
we can.
I'm like, maybe I need some, somebody to hold me accountable for shit. Yeah, I don't know what we be. We just going on a team. But yes, the songs.
Yeah.
They all came out at the same. I was like, yo, what's going on? I was scared. It
really?
Because it felt very supernatural. So I'm like, I was very weirded out at first. What is happening? And then I just sat still, and I just accepted it. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
It just reminded me of, it kept me going. I'm like, oh, there's a method to the madness. There are reasons for it. I'm still on this divine path. It's hard as shit. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically.
Just like that.
That's it. Yep. Yeah. So
I said, and in spite of all of that, all the great music you put out, you were recognized at the end of the year by Traxsource, as a vocalist.
How are you?
Artist. Yeah. We can say that too. Look.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. I crafted an email to somebody earlier. I didn't send it though. Because there's a mean girl inside of me that nobody wants to know. And I don't even want to know her no more, but I keep her because I need her.
Every now and then.
And I was sending an email to a producer that I recorded a track for that didn't, and this has been a back and forth thing. And he's being a little different. And I'm like, all right. I said, you know what? In the email, I was like, number 9 on the Traxsource top vocalist of last year for a reason,
bro.
It's not just the voice.
Right.
It wouldn't,
it's a bunch of voices.
It's the writing.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's coming with the writing. And it's also, if you can't, I was so irritated. I'm not going to go into details, but this is another podcast for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, for women in house music and music in general, but house music in particular, and for Black women specifically, or Latina women, women in house music who ain't white. And that's mostly
all of us.
All of them.
Right.
But there are some amazing white women in house music, amazing women in general. But for Black women in house music and Indigenous women in house music, we having a moment right now. It's like, yeah, they'll like put the track up, right? Or somebody will talk about the track, and they're like, so and so's track, and I'm like, yeah, but who's the woman
artist?
What's the name?
That's a whole nother.
Who is the woman, the voice, who's speaking the words, who put the flavor on this John, and you didn't say anything about it?
Yeah.
And that is something we really will not allow to happen anymore. So yeah, let's have that conversation too.
Woo, that.
I'm here for you when you do that conversation.
Absolutely. Ooh, so I saw you posted something on Instagram. It was a while ago where you went off about people taking your vocals and putting them on other stuff and then selling it on Bandcamp, and I almost jumped out my seat because I was like, this has happened to me so many freaking times. And when I heard you say it, I was like, oh, okay, so they doing this just across the board, like snatching your words and not understanding that it's not a compliment, because they'll come back. Some of them will come back and be like, oh yeah, don't you like what no, you that's not a compliment to snatch.
No, you know what? I swear, if I was more, tech savvy, I would get a group of us together And then I would just say, let's start snatching track snippets. And then, we just going to put it on our stuff. And then we just going to send it to them and say, look what I did with your stuff.
Right. And I'm going to make money on it and put it on this site. And
Aren't you glad I took your thing without asking you? And I'm doing this with it? Let's see how you feel. Because
right.
It wouldn't go over well.
Right. You already know. See, I told you we cousins in real life.
And then get all super sensitive while we're talking. I've experienced this, right? Yeah. I know you have.
Me too.
The sensitive. I'm like, nope, you don't get to be sensitive, but you do get to learn this lesson from us, because we've been suffering with it and challenged with it in order to do this, because we love it and we believe in what we're doing, and we've been up against this. Even in the moments where we didn't know we were up against it, because we were so happy to be doing what we love.
Right.
Then we realized, oh, wait a minute. Y'all not really giving us the love and respect that we earn by making your shit shine.
Yep. That's facts. That's all. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have another. I'm gonna do another series because we need.
No, we all work together. My sister Anane Vega said it really was like, this is a collaborative effort when we do this. So we all need to be about us all shining. It's not like you shine and then we over here. No, it's like everybody shines. It's a novel concept. Get into it.
I've been fortunate to link up the people, especially with the last project, to link up with people who respect that, So from the moment we put something together, it's your name, it's my name, it's us. Like, it's recognition.
There are a lot of them out there. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because bless the so many that do, but
the ones that we still got a lot of work to do.
They don't. It's plentiful enough to be a problem and chronic enough, to be an issue that we need to.
And you're not difficult for demanding that
at all.
As an artist,
At all. Maybe because self-care irritates all of us now. But when you said it earlier, I thought of something. I was like, maybe it irritates all of us so much because we know we're not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what it means. It irritates me because it goes beyond giving myself a facial and a pedicure.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it along those lines.
But like when people, it's just tossed around like, oh, spend a day at the spa and it's not that. It's this. It's going really, I always call it soul surgery at times, where I have to come in and start cutting this out and cutting that out. And then I have to heal, and that hurts. Healing hurts sometimes. And you got to go through all of those things. And that's what 2020 was for me. It was soul surgery. I had some stuff I had to get out of me to allow the stuff that was coming in to flow. And I think that's why the year went the way it did creatively for me, because I had already been pulling stuff out that I didn't want to carry in.
I love that.
And then I told you this, but I have said this so many times when I get interviewed. Who's the person you most like to sit down and talk to in an interview? I was like, I'd love to talk to Ursula Rucker. And I've said this for God knows how long.
I feel like we know. I'm like, wait.
I know.
I feel like we know each other already.
It's like the way our introduction happened again, divine timing. A random post on Instagram of somebody using a turban to my song.
My sister Angie.
Yeah, she's putting her hair wrap on and the songs in the background. And you're like, who that? And I'm like, it's me. But how random and how perfect that it brought us together at this moment to talk. And I just really wanted to acknowledge your art and your work and your contributions to all of this, but especially this past year, whether it's the things you say on social media, the music you put out, the haikus, it's all been very relative to helping us as creatives stay motivated. Some of us weren't doing too well in certain parts of 2020, and you're very vulnerable. So you are unafraid to say, today ain't a good day. I'm not doing this today. I'm not doing X, Y. You take that pressure. So that's one of the things I think that make you a game changer, and that you're always using your art and using your platform to elevate, educate, inspire. That's one of the things I love about what I do, is that I get to tell those stories. We talked about just loving to tell stories, our stories, your stories,
So important.
Yeah,
And thank you for all of that beautiful. Wow, I'm humbled and I feel super grateful. That is, another cliche term that's also super important that's flying around is being seen.
Yeah.
Right. And it's one of the ones I love. I love it, because it's so yeah, it matters.
It does.
It matters because it means more than just this on the surface thing. See y'all, yeah, those of you that think it means being seen on the certain, no, being seen means being seen, and I love it.
Yeah.
And, that was a moment like, we like that, and I love it because I think Alma left a comment too. Yes, we were all in there together, like we were all these Black women who do house music and write these songs. We were all in this,
at that moment. Yes.
Giving each other love, like, it's like
I love it. And I love her. Like she had such a incredible year. And
Lady Alma, please. She
did a virtual concert, and I was floored at how dope it was. And people have been asking, are you gonna do a virtual set? Are you doing this? And I've been like, and I saw hers, and I was like, everything about it was perfection.
She's my sister. I am. That I'm so blessed to, like, that's our Philly, fan, but she really does do that. So you come to see her live. Have you seen her live in Chicago?
Yeah, she played the Chosen Few picnic the year before, was it 2019, and took it out.
Tore it down, right? Tore it down and then built it up.
When I tell you, she is another one that has had me on a dance floor in tears, because it's just so, and I am so drawn to that.
And this is what I want to share with you too before we end, because I love this about us, that we're sharing this, and we're sharing this with each other, and we're sharing this with anybody who's going to listen to this, that also Alma, like us, has that come up from some dirt experience through her life.
Yes.
And still goes out there each time and has it be the catalyst for her sharing light and spreading light. I am the eternal pessimistic optimist. So my normal state is not just to stand there smiling. I'm in the back screw facing. I might be smiling on the inside, but on the outside, I'm like this.
Yeah.
But at Alma's, when Alma's doing her thing, I'm like this. I'm in the room like, and I look at her and I can't stop smiling. And I'm like, you're one of the only people that get me like that, where I'm in a state where I cannot stop smiling. So she's
just joy.
That's what we do. We all do it in our own different way. And I love that. Oh, we're going to rock it. We're going to have a show together.
We got to. I want to show it. I want to celebrate it. People need to see it, because they're always trying to pit us against each other. And it's never like that so many times. So I would love to do something like that. Let's put it on display. Let's put all that artistry on display.
Absolutely.
That would be dope. We'll just keep creating, keep telling those stories, because we have plenty to tell.
We do, and I'm looking forward to what we're going to do together now that we're connected.
Absolutely, I am so happy we finally got to talk, and I know we went longer than we said we would.
Yeah, you look beautiful. I have love. Look, your glasses.
Oh, thank you.
Mine are old, but I love the cat shape too.
Too. Oh yeah, I love a cat eye glasses.
Yeah.
And I'm always
And your hair and everything looks great. And I want to come hang out in that room. I don't drink no more because my body said,
it's lemonade back there too. So yeah,
I love you, sister. You know, I love you. I love the work you do already. I know that you're a real
Thank you.
Artist for the people. You're a real woman for the people. You're a real Black person for the Black people, because it's a lot that ain't.
Yeah.
And let's, we gotta, work on that because we need all the help we could get out here. Come on, y'all.
Look, you said you're gonna make me cry. I'm like, that means so much to me.
No, this is like real. I feel it. And it's exciting to me, because a lot of times we feel when we don't feel like we're being seen, and we feel so tired. Before we go, sis, let's say how tired we all are.
Yeah.
And please give yourselves a break. Check into that sister, the Nat Ministry. That sister that does the Nat Ministry, trying to get us Black folks to give ourselves rest and
restoration. But thank you.
Thanks for all you do. Let's keep it going. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm so full right now, but we'll definitely be in touch. But thank you so much for speaking with me today. It was a pleasure.
And congratulations to both of us for making it through last year and everybody else who did.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Game Changers. I hope you enjoyed that interview with the incredibly talented Ursula Rucker. Please join us on our new night. We are moving to Wednesdays. Wednesday, April 28th, where my guest will be none other than the Grammy-nominated DJ and producer and T's Box label owner, Terry Hunter. You're not going to want to miss this conversation. This should definitely be fun. So once again, it's your girl Black Widow. Thank you guys for joining us, and I will see you Wednesday, April 28th.